Good morning, my neighbors. As the sun rises, I have an announcement I want you all to hear. I am returning. Yes, I am returning.
We have a verdict.
Not guilty of racketeering conspiracy.
Count 2. How do you find the defendant not guilty?
Combs was found not guilty on count 4.
A victory for Sean Diddy Combs.
A judge overseeing the Sean Diddy Combs federal trial has confirmed October 3rd for sentencing.
He was surrounded. Lawsuits were piling up. His homes in Miami and LA were raided. Federal investigations were underway, and one of the most recognizable moguls in music was on the verge of collapse. But then something strange happened. No perp walk, no charges filed, and one by one, certain headlines started to disappear. How? How did a man under fire from the FBI, Homeland Security, and multiple civil suits walk away with his empire still intact? Was it the money? Was it the power? Or was it something much more calculated? This is how Diddy beat the US government.
Chapter 1. The Money.
Rule number 1 of life. Money makes the world go round, and without it, everything comes to a screaming stop. At Diddy's level, you don't just spend money, you invest in insulation. You learn to prepare for storms, because in a world like his, they always come. A few extra dollars at that fancy restaurant, that might get you better service. An extra tip at the bar, that might buy you information. A high-level membership at a private club, that might open the door to exclusive elite-level access. Because in the world of money, everything is for sale. The average person just doesn't know the price. Diddy knew. His empire wasn't built just on talent. It was built on diversification and leverage. Bad Boy Records gave him cultural dominance and generational loyalty. Ciroc Vodka allowed him to gain global prestige and enter elite social circles. Sean John gave him mainstream appeal and retail power. Revolt TV gave him control of narrative and political leverage, especially in Black America. Real estate, publishing, licensing, and investments quietly linked him to Hollywood, tech, and multi-billion-dollar empires, giving him financial insulation and corporate-level access. This allowed him to fund elite legal teams, settle lawsuits before they ever made headlines, and build a firewall of influence most artists could never dream of. By the time agents were knocking, Diddy had already outspent and outmaneuvered them. We've seen this same dog and pony show play out time and time again across every level of society.
His defense team saying he was from a wealthy family, too spoiled to understand what he had done, the so-called affluenzity.
Nancy Pelosi is under fire today after surveillance video shows her at a hair salon getting a blowout.
Brock Turner was freed after only serving 3 months of a 6-month sentence.
In this system, punishment has a price tag, and those with influence can negotiate the bill. The justice system claims to be blind, but what happens when the blindfold is money. In this world, money doesn't just buy better lawyers. It buys silence, sympathy, and systems that bend until they break. And Diddy, he wasn't just wealthy. He was connected. He was funded and fortified.
Chapter 2. The Connections.
Diddy didn't just build wealth. He built a Rolodex that stretched from Harlem to Hollywood, from the Middle East to Buckingham Palace, from Washington to Wall Street. You're talking about a man who's been in rooms with top athletes, Grammy-winning music artists, politicians, high-level executives, multi-billionaires, and royalty. For over 30 years, Diddy perfected the art of influence. He wasn't just in the industry. He was part of the infrastructure that held it together. From sitting courtside with Jay-Z to attending political fundraisers with the Clintons, Obamas, or being pictured with Trump, Diddy wasn't just playing the game. He was shaking hands with the people who could shape entire economies. At this level, image is everything. And even if the goal wasn't to get them involved, he'd done enough to dirty the well. And when the allegations broke, this wasn't just about saving Diddy. It was about saving the industry. Because if he fell, if the investigations went too far, he could have taken the entire empire down with him. Diddy knew too much, worked with too many, and had too many receipts. This wasn't about guilt or innocence. It was about containment.
Chapter 3: A Game of Frames.
From the start, Diddy's legal team knew they couldn't erase the past, but they could reframe it. Instead of painting him as a criminal kingpin or orchestrator of violence, they leaned into the idea of a man with a dark side, but not a dangerous one. A flawed icon, not a mob boss. They let the public chew on the headlines, the extravagant parties, the wild behavior, the mysterious NDAs. But when it came time to strike, they did it surgically. Witness testimonies were quietly torn apart, too theatrical, too stretched, and in some cases, too unbelievable. Even if parts of the stories were true, they didn't matter. The frame had shifted. What was once the image of an evil genius, a manipulative puppet master, became the story of a man who was just a deviant behind closed doors, still morally bankrupt, but not criminally prosecutable. That's the game. You change the narrative, you change the case. The public backlash was instant. To many, this wasn't justice delayed, it was justice denied.
Chapter 4: Flooding the System.
Now that you've changed the frame, it's time to erode the truth. Your goal isn't to stop gossip, it's to let it thrive. You don't silence conspiracy theories. You flood the system with so many, the facts get lost in the noise. Was Diddy a criminal mastermind? A victim of false accusations? A man with dark secrets but no real crimes? The more the public argues, the less anyone agrees on what actually happened. That's the tactic. Confuse the timelines, oversaturate the internet with conflicting details, weaponize the public's short attention span. When the facts go on vacation and the truth takes a backseat, you've already won. Because the real story doesn't matter anymore. Only the chaos does.
Chapter 5: Paying the Piper.
Every high-profile scandal demands a trade. And in Diddy's case, that trade might have been everything but himself. Settlements were made. Assets were moved. Lawsuits vanished quietly into sealed agreements. And those who were once close to him, suddenly, they weren't. Because when your empire's on the line, you don't think about loyalty, you think about leverage. In elite legal warfare, avoiding prosecution doesn't mean proving innocence. It means making the right sacrifice to preserve the whole. Sometimes it's a publicist, a manager, a former friend, a fall guy. Whatever it was enough. The machine was protected, the empire stayed intact, and Diddy, he walked away. So how did Diddy beat the US government? Not with luck, not with talent, but with something far more powerful: money, connections, framing, and sacrifice. Because the higher the stakes, the more invisible the deals become. And sometimes the real question isn't how did he win? It's what or who did he give up to stay free? Welcome to the inner circle.